Welcome back, everybody, to the Rebel Nutritionist podcast. Today, I am super excited to be talking with Wendi Weiss, who is a transformational leader and mentor devoted to empowering you to create your best life and business by design. Welcome, Wendi.
I am so happy that we were able to make this happen.
Yes, after a couple of technical difficulties, we are on. So I am also, I just mentioned off the air, I've been following you for a really long time. I've known about you for a really long time. And, we have so many different connections, and then to be able to do this. And so I am humbled and as well. So thank you for being on. So let's get right to it. Actually, I would love to have you start with your story of how you got into this kind of work, and because I know it's inspiring to me. I'm sure it will be inspiring to our listeners, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what we're talking about.
Well, it was by happenstance, I will say, although I sort of always had some sort of side hustle. I worked in a very conservative industry. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
So I started a side hustle putting inspirational messages on t-shirts. And, at first I really just started with a Sharpie and I just went to I don't know, Walmart, Target or something and got t-shirts and just started to design them. And then I liked them. So I thought it'd be great to actually really create a few of them with a couple messages on them. And then I took a table. It was at a church, in a synagogue, or an outdoor fair, and I really started thinking about those messages all the time and putting them on the t-shirts. I had a woman who said to me, I have your t-shirts, but I don't wear them. And I was like, and you don't wear them? And she said, no, I actually hang them around my room and I read them. And that's where the idea came to take the messages that were on the shirts and publish them in my first book. But I would be remiss without saying that I was going through a really difficult time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My kids were teenagers and I felt just exhausted, like I was pulled in every direction.
Mm-hmm.
And my career was very successful. A lot of years in the career, 25 years in pharma, but yet there felt like there was something missing in my
Mm-hmm.
life. So I went on a searching journey
Yeah.
at that time.
And I think that resonates with so many people. So you went on a searching journey, and where did that lead you?
It led me places I would have never in a million years imagined that I would go. And because I then published that first book, I was taking some courses just for personal growth. I took a course when I was 47. I'm now 63. And I took a course on NLP,
Mm-hmm.
which is about reprogramming the subconscious mind. And during that course, I met a woman there that came in to ask the instructor to be a speaker at her event. We ended up speaking, and she asked me, little old me, who had never spoken in front of more than 10 people. She actually asked me to speak at her event because I was very curious, and I created a survey, a happiness survey. I was asking people in the morning, I had a clipboard, and I was asking people on a 1 to 10, how would they rate their happiness and work? And I shared with her that story, and she asked me to share that story on stage at one of her events.
Amazing. Amazing. So, you could say that it happened by happenstance, right? But we both know that that's not really what happens, right? I mean, we think at the time maybe it's happenstance, right? But as we have talked, and I know we are of a similar mindset, if we create the vision of what we want, and maybe we don't have to know exactly what we want, but we have an idea of where we want to be, right? You were in an unhappy job, you knew you wanted something more, you didn't know how, but you knew you wanted it, and you created that, and you started doing things that moved the needle for you there. So
Yes.
isn't it less by happenstance and more by, okay, wait, this is really more about the manifesting of it?
Well, I'm going to say a couple things about that. First,
Okay.
I had an open mind. So
Okay.
where my mind might have been closed, my mind opened. And it was more about taking small baby steps. I had never written out like for, let's just say, the new year. I maybe had New Year's resolutions. I up leveled that to
Hmm.
New Year goals. And from just thinking about them or sharing them with a couple of friends walking out the door to celebrate on New Year's Eve to actually writing them down. And that's when things started to take off. That very first year
Hmm.
was when I was 48. After I took that course, I spent the day, New Year's Day, and I wrote down the vision of what I wanted my life to look like that coming year.
So you wrote down the vision, and then what were the things that you did? Because we all know, okay, you can write down the vision, but it's not going to just fall in your lap.
Mhm. Yeah.
So then how did you then take that and, like you said, up level the things that you started to do to create that?
Well, one of the things I did was well, first I broke it into different categories. If you look at life in that pie chart,
Yeah.
whether you have 10 categories or four categories, we know one of those categories is health and vitality. That's what you are all about.
Hmm.
And one of those areas is relationships, how important they are. And then business and finance and spirituality. I broke it down and I started to look at where is the weakest link and just started to think about not like really huge, big goals just yet, but to think about a few things that I could do or things that I wanted for that year. And I wrote them down.
Hmm.
And I knew, like with health, that was something that I started to do when I was in college. I started working out, I started teaching aerobics. So that category I was pretty good in,
Yeah.
but then in other categories, when it came to like some relationships and other categories, spirituality really didn't even exist for me. So that was a big one. That was starting pretty much at ground zero and then building. And so that's really how it started for me.
And then it just gained momentum from there. Is that kind of where?
The interesting thing is one of the exercises that I incorporated into my life, one of the routines, one of the habits was waking up in the morning and setting intention. Now, I said to myself, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to set an intention for a good day. And that was it. I set an intention for a good day, but I would forget the days that I would set intention that it would be a good day and I would be mindful and I would reflect and I would connect to my heart and I would start thinking about what a good day looked like and what a good day felt like. Those days were better. And the days I didn't do it, I started to connect the dots that those were the days and the mornings that started to get out of control.
Hmm.
And I started to link it to it's because I missed my intention setting.
I
So that inspired me to do it then more and more.
And I love that. I talk about that too, that I get up in the morning and I meditate. And that meditation really allows me to set myself up for the day because the meditation is about, well, how do I want to feel through my day? What do I want to accomplish? But what is that? And the key there is what is the feeling, right? So, like you said, well, I set myself up for a good day, but what does a good day feel like? And that's the difference. It's not just thinking about the good day, it's feeling what the good day is. And I think a lot of people miss that, right? With when we talk about, and I say that because I talk to so many of my clients and so many people, they say to me, well, because my life in the past year, even since I've been really focused on, I always say I went to the Joe Dispenza workshop, number one, with Suzette, our friend Suzette, and then I went to the second one and I upped, my meditation game a little more. But when I really leaned into the feeling of what I wanted to feel, what is the vision I want to create, right? Whether it's personal, whether it's life, like you said, all those different buckets. Um, and how do I want to feel and show up in each of those? And And I think that's so important for people to hear because I see women and men on a day to day, and they're trying to muscle through it, and I'm like, it's not not about how hard you try. It's what do you want to feel, right? And I think that's the similarity.
Yeah, when you muscle through, sometimes what you're doing is you're actually pushing the thing that you want. You're pushing up against it and you're pushing it back.
Hmm.
And that was me.
Yeah.
I was a doer, a hustler, want to get things done, rush around like crazy and all the things. So that's where meditation and kicking back and not doing anything and then just becoming comfortable in your own skin and just allowing all the different feelings to circulate and then start to redirect your thinking
Yeah.
and being aware, just being aware of it, and to know that that it's not a just one and done. It is a constant. It's a day to day. It's a moment to moment practice of asking, how do I feel right now? And then being frustrated. If you're driving and
Right.
you're in traffic, you go from, oh my God, I'm late. Oh my God, like what, I'm so frustrated to, okay, I'm just going to be here now, be present, and trust that the traffic is going to start to flow.
Right.
And worst case scenario, if I'm late, it's so be it,
Right.
right? Instead of pushing against it, that we just allow it and just know that things happen. That whole saying, which, can really tick people off, really, it happens not to you, but for you. You can say, come on, that happened for me. That really bad thing that I really didn't want to happen. Well, maybe
Right.
to shift you in a different direction.
Yes, 100%. So one of the things, I wanted to ask you because I've heard you talk about this before, and again, I think so many people that come to see us are trying to they want to feel better. They're not feeling the way they want to feel. Their body is not responding the way their body, they want it to. But they're sick. They're sick and tired of feeling sick. And I always say, yes, we've got to change the physical and the physiological, but we also have to shift the mindset. So one of the things I want to ask you is, how do we help our clients? How do we help our audience redefine who they are in uncertain times? And Lord only knows there's uncertainty abound right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, first and foremost, you have to get yourself to a state. Like if you ask yourself on a 1 to 10, how do I feel? If you feel like with 10 being positive and then 0 being the lowest negative. So if you feel like you're a 3, that's the time that you got to recalibrate
Mm-hmm.
before you start doing something that's really important. So that's the time, if you're working and you're making calls and you're frustrated, if something's not working out, to literally reset, reboot, by going for a walk, by
Mm-hmm.
doing some breath work, from doing, hydrating, doing something good, closing your eyes for 3 to 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a big practice. You don't have to get into a yoga studio or anything like that. Is just realizing that life is going to throw you a lot of curveballs. And the more that you can balance your nervous system, because it comes down to your nervous system, there are things that you can do that will quickly make you feel better. And for me, that number one thing is actually doing breath work.
Right.
So, something like that, have something fresh air,
Mm-hmm.
just something that you could do. Like right now, this month, I have an event, I have a book launch. I'm pulled in every direction. My phone is ringing off the hook. I have a trampoline. I have a small rebounder that is in our kitchen because I can jump on it literally for 1 minute, and what it does is it changes your state. Anybody that, and I've not been to a Tony Robbins, only a really small Tony Robbins event, but he talks about changing your state.
Yes.
So do something that changes your state and then create from there, and start with your language. We think about thoughts, feelings, words, actions. So
Mm-hmm.
you think about your thoughts, maybe write down a word, One of the things that I heard from Robert Holden that I adapted, and I'm just going to show you right now, like what I did. I just heard him say this. He's written many books. I think he lives in London. And so he talked about writing the word trust on a piece of paper, and like it's something, and then I'll just like sit on it. So now I'm sitting in trust and I know it's there, right? So there are these small little things that we can do that allow us then, instead of giving away our power, to start to take our power back and start to connect to the power that is within us.
Oh, that's fabulous. I'm going to write a piece of paper and put that. I love that I'm sitting on trust. That is that, and again, right. I love that these are such small little um, pieces of advice, but they're so powerful collectively, and so, yeah, that's awesome. So you said the first step in redefining is figuring out how you're feeling, right? And then what would be the next thing? Or is that the action and
Well, so first know how you feel. So you ask yourself, like, what you want to do is take inventory.
okay.
So if you were talking about your wealth, your money, you need to know how much money you have in the bank. So you need to know what your energy level is. You need to know if your battery is at a 3 or is your battery at an 8. If your battery's at an 8, you're going to function and things are going to come to you easier. You're going to be more productive. Your relationships are going to flourish. Those things are going to happen. But if your battery is at a level 3, then you need the little hits to start increasing your level to a 5, to a 6, to a 7. And then start there at a 7 is where you're like, okay, now I'm really ready to start manifesting. So you can manifest from a place where you know that you are already whole. You have to remind yourself, the thoughts, I am whole. And to look at yourself in the mirror, to actually see who you are beyond the physical, to actually see yourself as the highest, best version of yourself. Give yourself permission, talk to yourself. Sometimes like I'll literally be talking to myself and say, come on, Wendi, like go take a break, go get a glass of water, go ahead and write this down. You don't feel like writing those 3 emails. Sit down, write those emails.
Right.
You can do it. So like that's like you have to start and then create a bridge to where like you are here and you want to go over here. You have to create a bridge. You might have to cross some water, a mountain, some traffic, and so you have to navigate the trail till you get to the other side.
That's fabulous. That's a great visual. I really like that. Especially like you said, well, if your battery's at a 3, how do you get to the 7? And, gauging that in terms of, because you hear so much now. I mean, it's funny, the more you do this work, the more you start to hear about all of this, right? In terms of how do you manifest the millions? And, and it's not just saying, okay, I really want to win the lottery, right? So it sounds like you sort of, and we all know it doesn't happen overnight, but it's kind of like you said, getting that battery up to where we can see it. Is that correct? Because people say, well, that's so woo woo, or that kind of thing. I'm sure you hear that a lot. Um, and I know it's a bigger conversation than just, we have to really go into how do we manifest the millions, or how do we manifest, that financial security. But I think, especially in uncertain times now where we're at, what other tools can you give to, how do we kind of get there?
Well, so first think about your body.
Yeah.
We have, on average, men and women, if you average us together, have about 30 trillion cells that are all vibrating and all communicating, and all of our body systems are communicating with one another.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we think and whatever we say, whatever we believe, like to go from a limited way of thinking to being limitless and being open and think about infinite possibility for our lives, right? So you have to allow yourself some time to visualize, to think about. I never thought about being a millionaire. That I just thought about my goals were, like, growing up was to go to college, have a career and make 6 figures so that I could have a house and children. in the world of entrepreneurship, people are throwing out like big numbers, a millionaire, a multimillionaire, all these big numbers. I never thought about that. But now I'm thinking about it. Like say, all you have to do is see it and see it with someone that represents that you resonate with, that you can see yourself as that person and that they've achieved it. And because they've achieved it, you could achieve it too. So
Mhm.
to open the mind to infinite possibility, if you follow Oprah, for example, I want to be Oprah. Well, you might say, well, Oprah's been Oprah for decades. She's so far ahead. I can't really, think how the gap between me and Oprah, right? Or Taylor Swift as a musician, or like Elon Musk
You're
as,
right.
Tesla. But find somebody that is just a few steps ahead of you. That's why the coaching field is so important.
Mm.
Someone who can coach you, that can connect with you and hold that vision strong with you so that when you can't really quite see it or believe it with complete certainty for yourself, like maybe you believe it sometimes and not sometimes, but you work with somebody or you're surrounded by people that say, I see it. You've got this. We need that. That's why I went to the gym this morning to just lift, right? And I worked out. And then, Nicole, who started that franchise, she's talking about setting deadlines, all the things I love, right? She's
Right,
talking about
right.
like, but deadlines for everything, like for your workouts, and have someone lead you. Because if you left me on my own vices to do my weight workouts, I'm not going to do them to the same level that I am going to do it when someone is over me. And then even if they're not saying go heavier, you feel compelled to
Right.
do more because you're there and you sort of want to make that person proud and you begin to make yourself proud. Plus, you look around the room, you see other people, and then that inspires you too. So you have to get in the room. Proximity is power
Mhm.
with people that are doing the things that you want to do and are living the life modeling how you want to live. You need to be surrounded by those people. Sometimes it means a change up in relationships and friendships. It's not like you've got to kick everybody to the curb, but
Right.
you may have to do some cleaning house.
Absolutely, right? If you're surrounded by toxic energy and people who are not supporting you up, lifting you up, then you do need to reframe that, right? I mean, one of my last conversations was about boundaries. I think women especially, although we do have men, right, who are not able, not willing, maybe don't even know about setting boundaries, like I'm allowed to do this. I am allowed to put you over there for right now until I figure all this out.
Yeah, 100%. It's doable. I would have never imagined it. Like, it's 15 years for me since I left the pharmaceutical industry and went on the journey. But I would have never known what I didn't know. We don't know it until we know it, until we read a book.
Yeah.
We go to a conference, we hear somebody speak, we're inspired, until a friend of ours makes a big change in their lives. Like something has got to happen. There's got to be some sort of catalyst
Yes.
that leaves a trail, like the cookie crumbs. Then you can follow the cookie crumbs. Or will we say, like, if it's plant based, like, the sprouts,
Right.
the sprouts along the way, just follow something
Yeah.
that's going to take you in the direction that you want to go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So along those lines, so then when we talk about, right, how to when we're limitless in our thinking, is that any different than like how when you because you talk about that, like what does that then translate to? Is that on the same lines of this or
Well, it is if it's like climbing up a ladder, right? Like how high do you want to go? And it's what is the biggest vision that you can see for your life based on your life
right?
that you want to keep everything in a certain order. It's not that you want to maybe be the top of your career and let your relationships suffer. So you think about, the long haul, what does the ideal life look like and what then are the first few baby steps that you can take one step at a time, and it involves changing up a routine usually and creating new habits. And most importantly is your identity, to
Right.
step into the new identity. So you have those, let's say on average, 30 trillion cells that are they just keep regenerating. So
Mhm.
you become a new you all of the time, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And when we can believe that we hold the pen to write the story, and what I recommend too is actually write a story. Pretend it can be any story.
Yeah.
It can be a fantastic story. It's the story of your life. Like, write down how you would feel, what you would be doing, places you would be going. I'll share with you this one story because we were talking about Ellen Latham and over there in that Davie
Yeah.
area, the founder of Orange Theory. And I had a workshop. And in this workshop, we created a bucket list.
Mhm.
So it could be simply just creating your bucket list. And this woman put on her bucket list, she put in there, I guess I said, name a place you want to travel to. And she wrote down, and she told me this like 2 years later, she wrote down on that bucket list, Africa. But she said, there's no way I can go to Africa. She was a little bit older. Her husband was older, and he was really sick. She stayed home and she took care of him. And the chances of her going to Africa were basically zero when she wrote it down. She even laughed at herself when she wrote it down. She was like, yeah, right. Like that could ever happen. Well, lo and behold, one of her adult children became a photographer and actually was asked to photograph something in Africa. And he asked his mother to go.
Wow.
And had it been any other way, she would have never left her husband. But it was her son asking her to go. So they made the arrangements. And she said that to me. She said, in a million years, I would never think that that is possible. But I wrote it down because you made us write it down because it was exercise.
Yeah, I mean that is the power of what we put out, right? In those moments and what we continue to create for ourselves. So we have so many different people who listen, the men, the women, right? And they're feeling, let's say they're feeling stuck from where they are. And I know we've talked about a few different things, but like, all right, so I guess in terms of the segue, and I'm going to ask you about your book in a second, but like, so is there a specific process that you teach, that you go through with people? I guess it's similar to what we're talking about, but is there a very deliberate, okay, this is what we're doing first and this is what we're doing second, so if people want to um, create the life they want and who they want
Yes.
to be, right?
Yes. So
What
I call it the Weiss method, which is a five step system. That's it. So first thing in the morning is you clear your energy every day. And I release, I surrender and let go of anything that doesn't serve me. And I forgive myself for anything I did or didn't do. And I forgive everybody, everything. Just like you clear your energy,
Okay.
that you're not holding on to like the resentment or something that you didn't do. So you clear your energy. So forgiveness, I release, I surrender, and let go. If you feel stuck, I will share an exercise that I did literally for 2 years, which is like tapping in the heart area by
Mhm.
saying, I release, I surrender, I let go. I release, I surrender, and let go. And like tapping the heart area and see
Yeah.
where you feel
Yeah.
stuck. Or
I
like,
love that.
so I release, I surrender, and let go. And forgive myself and others, so anything along those lines. So that's step one, because you want to get, if you are negative zero, like,
Right.
negative two, you want to get to baseline.
Yeah.
And then the next step is make a commitment. Make a commitment. What do you commit to? I commit to being the best version of myself today. I commit to being kind and thoughtful today. I commit to drink water today. I commit to work out today. I commit to those 3, 4 10 sales calls. So whatever it is that you commit, I commit to making my bed. And I share that because like step number 3 is then stack your wins. So get those first few wins early in the morning, making the bed, drinking the water, going for the walk. So step 1 is the forgiveness and clearing the energy. Step 2 is the commitments. To step 3 is to stack your wins. By 10 o'clock, you're saying, yes, I did it. I took my supplements. I am so proud of myself. I
Mhm.
made the bed. Sounds like a little thing. You did it, right? Stack your wins. Then number 4, I'll spend a little bit more time on this, is really the key of the way that I coach and what I teach on, which is reverse engineering,
Okay.
is going forward as if it has already happened. What this does is it allows you to crystallize the vision. So, for an example, I produce events. I have a big one coming up this month. I also launch collaboration books, one that is launching this month. So, I see the book is a bestseller. I see it's a bestseller in 10 categories. I see the books make it into Amazon, onto the bookshelves before the event. Like I see it all before it happens. And then I visualize it. I speak it. I actually speak it. Going for a walk, speak it out loud. Say it out loud. And you can tell if there's incongruency or trust or your tonality. Listen to the sound of your voice.
Mm.
If you are a female entrepreneur and you have a program, and that program, you're a coach, for example, and your program is $150. If you are like, you want 10 clients at $150, you say that it's December, the end of the year, the last day of the year, and I have been working with 10 clients consistently every month, $150 an hour, and I've made blah, blah, blah. And you can just hear it in your voice. But if you do this daily, you get in the habit of doing it daily for the little things, then it becomes easier for the big things. So that's reverse engineering.
I like that.
And then the very last piece, and I think this is key in particular and for men and women, is to embody your worth, that you are valuable, that you were created in love, that you are worthy, that you are deserving. So we've got those 30 trillion cells. We want vibrating our worth, because when we vibrate our worth, then that's self respect.
Mhm.
That is confidence. That is energy to be able to move forward. That is boundaries when we are in our worth. We're sitting on our trust
Yeah.
when we are in our value and our worth. So it's those 5 steps. I call it the Weiss method. And that is the core of my teaching.
That's great. I love that. I mean, I do so much of that, but I do think writing it down, reverse engineering it, I'm going to start to do that. Actually, I love that. I love that. So you have 2 books now?
Well, actually, so 3 co-author books, one
Okay.
coming out in a week or two. I think I can grab them. Here is one, and our friend Suzette is in this one.
Mhm.
And here is another. Oh no, Suzette is in this one,
Okay.
actually, Becoming
Becoming
You.
you. Mhm.
And then we have a third coming out called Impact Entrepreneur that is coming out this month.
Awesome.
And then I've written my own books and also have a reverse engineer system, self coaching planner calendar system.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is it. And I also have a journal that goes along with it. And I also have my very first book, What is Your Destiny?
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. That is, look at what you've created. Kudos to you. And just, following your own, right? You're just living it, breathing it every single day. Um, so
And anybody can do it. I know for sure. I
yeah,
didn't even start on this journey till I was 45. I
yeah.
didn't even change careers till I was 50. I didn't even start writing books until my 50s. if I could do it, the message that I want to leave in the world, that it doesn't matter your age or your background or your circumstance, and you can do it regardless of those things. You just need a trail, somebody who left the sprouts for you
Well,
for you
and
to
that,
follow.
yeah, and that's why I think even, those the workbook or whatever that is for people, if you're feeling like, and I know so many people, right, who are feeling a little bit stuck and they are saying, how do I do this? Can I do this? I come across so many people that there's this self-doubt and that story and their belief systems, and oh, I'm already, 40 or 50. How am I going to change? And just by listening to you, it's so encouraging. And really, I want people to take away that, yes, it is possible, and just go do it and start it and create the vision and the life that you want and reverse engineer it.
Yes.
And look, we both know it takes time and it takes commitment. I say the same thing to people who come in and go, oh, well, wait a minute. I have to change what I'm eating and I have to move my body. Oh, and I have to go to sleep. I have to get sleep too. And right, we talk about all these things if we're talking about a healthy, balanced, vibrant, life that you want to have longevity. But yes, you have to put all of these things into place. Doesn't mean you're going to do it all at once, right? But you have to put them into place if you want the result of the health and the well-being. And it's the same thing in your world, right? Or, say, I mean, we want them to do it all together, right? We want health and we want success in whatever we do. But it's the same thing. It's putting these little pieces together, recognizing where we are every day. How do we move the needle forward in these small little ways consistently every day?
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's all tied in together.
It
And
is.
it's all doable. And you look at the phase of your life. I declared when I turned 60, I declared that 60 to 70 is going to be the best decade of my life, and just start from there. To start backwards, right? That I'm 70. I'm already envisioning being 70 and being healthy and vibrant and active and working out and all the things, and then business and flourishing and doing all these things and writing more books and
Yeah.
supporting coaches and entrepreneurs and authors and helping them do the same thing. So you just keep putting it out there. If you don't put it out there, it's not going to come finding you. You
Right.
have to put it out there.
Yes.
And know that if a door shuts, it is consistency, and it is like the whole saying around, you're going to learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. So the failures information, and it's learning. It doesn't mean the only time is when you stop.
Right.
So just take the information. Like every project I've ever worked on, the next time it just gets better, because we take and we improve on it. And we focus, I always say, put your blinders on and just focus on helping one person. But first, take care of helping you.
Right. Right. Put that oxygen mask on you first, and then you can take care of others. And I think, that's an important point I just want to touch on for a minute, because so many people, especially women, especially the caregivers, for their families, and they come in and they don't even know what it is to take care of themselves. I don't know if you see that, too, in the work that you do. I'm sure you do, but like, so many women are just uncomfortable with self-care,
Yeah,
and you have to take care of you. And I think it goes back to the deservingness. You're deserving, you're worthy, and breaking through that. And it is doing that work every day.
100%.
Awesome. This is great. I think there's so many great takeaways, and thank you for your time. What else do you want to share with us that my audience, our audience, doesn't know that we should know?
Oh gosh, it all starts with you. One of my clients, that's her tagline. It all starts with you. Nobody's going to come save you. You have to save yourself, and it all starts in any moment that you decide. And you can decide in this instant. You can say, "I decide right now,"
Right.
and you can begin again.
Amazing. Well, thank you. And the event you're doing later this, I think it's on the 27th, you said, right? Is that open? Is that for entrepreneurs? Is it open to the public?
Yeah, it's for anybody that wants self improvement. It's for anybody that wants to connect with amazing people and network and grow their tribe and be part of a community and to collaborate, whether it's to lock arms on the health journey, on the wealth journey, in business, in art, in the creatives. So all types of people are there. Some are, retired, and some are just starting out. So it's men, it's women. It's really about community, and we'll have over 25 speakers. And what I like about this format is you get the 3 or 5 best tips in like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very fast paced. We have a live podcast studio that's going to be there on the premises. So you can be a guest, you can be a host. There's so many experiences that you can have that day. So whether you're listening to this before, the event, or after, know that we have others, but it's April 27th. It's in Delray, and it's called Unleash Your Superpower, because everybody has gifts and talent and superpower inside of them. And
Awesome.
that is the message and the theme of the event.
Great. Yes, we all have our superpower. If anybody listening wanted to find out, they can just go to your website. We have that linked here. It'll be in the show notes. This has been a great conversation. I really, I love the work you're doing. You're so inspiring, and it was great. It's just great information. I feel like,
I feel the same way about you, Meryl. I mean, really. So you walk your talk and you are helping a lot of people. And health is your wealth, and health is the most important thing to focus on for your business, for your relationships, for your life. I just love your work. You radiate vitality. So thank you so much for having me on.
wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, well, we'll have to get you on another time and revisit all this stuff, and find people who've done this work, and and let them come on and share their stories. I think that's amazing. So
Right.
awesome. Appreciate you, and good luck with the launch. Good luck with the event, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you again.
So, everyone, this is your Rebel Nutritionist signing off. Make it a great day.